It looks like just another coin, a small, ordinary disc of metal, tossed into a drawer or rattling in your change without a second thought. But buried within South Africa's aging currency is a secret almost no one knows, a twist of fate, a minting mistake, a fortune hidden in plain sight. And today, that mistake is worth up to $1 million. 1989, at a year just before the dawn. Apartheid was still standing, but only barely. The pressure of change was building. The nation teetered between repression and revolution. In the shadows of history, something extraordinary was quietly created. Among South Africa's standard coinage that year was the 20-cent coin. Modest, copper-nickel, and easily overlooked. But not all of them were ordinary. Somewhere, deep in the precision-driven process of minting, something slipped. A rare error was born. A coin unlike the rest. A misprint, a metal mismatch, a strike gone wrong, but perfectly wrong. Only a handful of these flawed 1989 20-cent pieces ever escaped into the world. And among those, one or two have been confirmed as possibly worth up to $1,000,000. Yes, $1 million. Why? Because in the world of numismatics, the elite realm of coin collecting, there are 4 golden rules. Rarity, condition, historical significance, minting error. In this coin checks all 4. Rarity? Fewer than a dozen known examples with this error exist. Condition? A few have surfaced in uncirculated, mint state like time capsules. Historical significance? Minted just before South Africa's transformation. A snapshot of a nation on the edge. Error? A possible wrong planchet, struck on a blank meant for another coin, maybe even another country. These are not fakes. Not forgeries. Not fantasy pieces. They are official, authentic, and unexpected. And they're worth a fortune, not just in currency, but in context. Because sometimes collectors don't just chase coins. They chase stories, moments frozen in metal, symbols of struggle, souvenirs of survival. And that brings us to you. You might be holding a piece of this legacy without even realizing. So how do you know if you've got the $1 million 1989 20 cents? Here's what to look for. On screen list appears. Wrong planchet, the coin feels too light, too heavy, or sounds off when dropped off center strike. The design is misaligned or partly missing double strike. Parts of the image or text are repeated color variation. It looks unusually silver or gold-toned uncirculated condition. Crisp edges, high detail. Nowhere, like it was never used. If your 1989 South African 20 cents has more than one of these signs, don't ignore it. You might be holding something far more valuable than spare change. Have it authenticated by a professional numismatic grading service, like PCGS or NGC. They can confirm its rarity, its condition, and yes, its true market value. Because the real worth isn't just the coin, it's the story it carries, a story of a country on the brink. A coin struck just before rebirth and accident. That became a legend. That coin jar in your kitchen? That drawer in your father's desk? That old stash of coins from years ago? There's a chance, slim but real, that you could be holding the rarest South African 20 cents ever minted. And if it is, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding $1 million legacy. Because this isn't about metal. It's about meaning, a flawed coin from a flawless moment in history, a relic of a country learning to breathe again. Not all treasures glitter. Not all legends are locked in vaults. Some are sitting in your hand. If this story sparked your curiosity, there's so much more to uncover. Subscribe for rare coin deep dives, forgotten histories, and financial folklore you can actually hold. Drop a comment if you've ever found an odd coin. We might feature your discovery next. Until then, keep collecting and keep looking closer, because sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest stories. It looks like just another coin, a small, ordinary disc of metal, forgotten in a drawer or slipped into a pocket without a second thought. But buried within South Africa's modern currency is a story few have ever heard. A twist of fate, a minting mistake, a treasure hidden in plain sight. And today, that mistake is worth up to $50,000. 1994. A year that changed everything. After decades of apartheid, South Africa stepped into the light. With Nelson Mandela elected as president, the country held its first democratic elections. and hope surged through every street, every voice, every home. And from the heart of this historic transformation, new currency was minted, not just in banks, but in spirit. Among them, the newly designed 5 rand coin. It carried the symbol of the black wildebeest, powerful, fast, and enduring, reflecting a nation's wild strength. It wasn't just money. It was a monument in metal, a marker of change. But not every coin that left the mint that year followed the script. Somewhere in the precision-driven world of minting, something slipped. A flaw emerged. A perfect mistake. A rare error coin, struck on the wrong planchet, misaligned during pressing, or minted using incompatible metals. Only a few ever made it out, and of those, fewer than 20 are known to exist today. These are not fakes, not forgeries, not fantasy pieces. They are official coins, just different, unintentionally born, and unintentionally legendary. Numismatics, the study and collection of coins, thrives on 4 elements: rarity, condition, history, and error. And this 1994 5 rand checks every single box. Minted in a landmark year, the birth of modern South Africa. Featuring a design only used during a short transition period. Containing a minting error so rare, it's barely documented. And confirmed by professional graders as authentic and uncirculated. That's why collectors are willing to pay 5 figures. Not for the coin itself, but for the story it carries. Because sometimes, the smallest objects hold the loudest echoes of history. So how do you know if you've got one? Here's what to look for. On-screen list appears. Off-center design, the wildebeest or South African emblem appears skewed or shifted. Double strike elements are repeated or look shadowed. Wrong planchet. Coin feels lighter or heavier than normal, or has a strange metallic tone color variation, oddly golden or silver sheen where it shouldn't be. Uncirculated condition. The coin looks new, with minimal wear or scratches. If your 1994 5 rand shows more than one of these signs, don't ignore it. Could be worth thousands. But authenticity is everything. Have it inspected by a professional numismatic grading service. They can determine its legitimacy and market value. Collectors don't just chase coins, they chase stories. Moments frozen in metal, symbols of rebellion, revolution, or rebirth. This coin is all of that. A single strike that echoes an entire nation's journey from division to democracy. From the halls of oppression to the roar of freedom. This coin watched it all. That coin jar in your kitchen. That shoebox in your grandfather's garage. That stack of foreign coins from a trip years ago. There's a chance, slim but real, that one of those coins is the rare 1994 5 rand error. And if it is, you're not just holding a rare coin, you're holding a legacy. This isn't about metal, it's about meaning. A flawed coin from a flawless moment in time. A tiny relic of one of the most important years in South African history. Not all treasures glitter. Not all legends are buried in gold mines. Some are right in front of us, waiting to be found. If this story sparked your curiosity, there's so much more to discover. Subscribe for more rare coin deep dives, untold histories, and hidden treasures. Drop a comment if you've ever come across a strange coin, and who knows, we might just feature your find next. Until then, keep collecting and keep looking closer, because sometimes